The Flash is a student forum for students produced by students.
Students make all content decisions, research, write, shoot, and broadcast news stories they deem important to the Eastview community.
Hey Eastview, and welcome to today's episode of The Flash.
Like the disclaimer states, we the students get to choose what makes it to your screen each week.
And The Flash has decided to do something different.
Instead of focusing on 3 individual stories, we'll take a look at one specific story.
A story close to home, and gets way bigger than you could ever imagine.
This episode contains discussions of major trauma, legal disputes, and the death of young children.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Fire.
Is this 911?
It is. How can I help you?
Okay, I need an ambulance. I need an ambulance.
What's the address of the emergency? All right, calm down. I can't understand what you're saying when you yell into the phone. What's the address?
A 2-year-old is dying.
Okay, tell me the address one more time.
Valentine's Day. So it was the day of love, and we each got a piece of chocolate as we left church. And so by the time we pull into the garage, this child has chocolate like smeared all over his face, and I just remember thinking, life is good. You know, you love the innocence of kids, and they're so unaware of themselves. And I remember getting him out of the van just thinking, like, today's gonna be a good day.
Before dinner, but after lunchtime. So like that's normally when kids go take their naps.
And then I put him in his room and didn't hear anything. And I thought, okay, finally he's fallen asleep, because that happened many times. Okay, he finally fell asleep. So I went in to just confirm that he had fallen asleep. And when I opened his door, I saw immediately that his dresser had fallen forward. And I knew, based on how just eerily quiet it was, I knew he was under that dresser.
And then I hear just like a scream. I was like, what's going on? Because like I didn't really know what I was walking into.
I think the thing that shocked me at the time was I didn't even hear this dresser fall. I didn't hear anything. We lived in a small house. I didn't hear anything. And what I later learned was that's really common in tip-overs, where parents don't hear anything because their body actually muffles the noise as it hits the ground.
Ran in to the kitchen and I grabbed and I typed 911.
My son, Blake, called 911, got them to our house.
I don't even think I had time to really process what happened because it all happened so fast.
Falling furniture and TVs send a child to the hospital every 24 minutes, and every 2 weeks, one is killed.
On the floor in his bedroom talking, and one of my friends said, "This wasn't an IKEA dresser, was it?" So I was sitting on the floor in my dead son's bedroom 4 days after he died and Googled IKEA dresser deaths. And the picture of his dresser came up, the first thing.
In June, the Swedish company recalled 29 million dressers and chests in the United States. At the time, IKEA and...
Ted's death led to the largest furniture recall in U.S. history, when IKEA recalled 29 million dressers off the market because they didn't meet safety standards. They made a promise to us that they would never sell any products that didn't meet the safety standard again. The problem is that the safety standard wasn't strong enough.
These deaths and injuries should never have happened in the first place, but they continue to happen because current furniture stability standards are both inadequate and only voluntary.
So the importance of the Sturdy Act is that now it is mandatory that furniture manufacturers must follow the safety standard. And not only is it mandatory, it has much stronger standards than before. There was a huge disconnect between how consumers were using these products and how they were actually being tested. So they were being tested on, lab floors, not carpet, the way a lot of us have carpeted bedrooms. They were tested empty. They did not take into account the dynamic force a child might exert on a dresser. They only tested one drawer coming out at a time. And if it's unsafe for multiple drawers to be open at once, then why do you design your dressers that way? Right as I was thinking we were getting traction, I was in the Senate buildings lobbying for Sturdy the day that COVID shut down the Senate buildings.
No nation is more prepared or more resilient than the United States.
We knew the country needed to focus on other things. We knew that Sturdy was not the main priority, but we did continue to call Senate offices and continue to keep all of those contacts in the loop on what was happening and where we were intending to go with the Sturdy Act. When we went in January of 2023, Parents Against Tipovers, me and several other parents went to DC to take some photos and have a celebration with all of the people at the Capitol that we'd been working with, all of the people in the Senate, in the House, and it was just a really neat experience. So Senator Casey's office gave this to each of our families. This is the actual sturdy bill signed by President Biden, and Senator Casey wrote a personal message on there for our family, and Senator Klobuchar also wrote a personal message on there for our family. And I always say now, fast forward to 2023, I have a great relationship with IKEA. I actually just saw several from the company a couple weeks ago when we were celebrating the passage of the Sturdy Act. Wonderful people. They were very instrumental in getting the Sturdy Act passed, and we have talks about doing some potential partnerships in the future.
All right, my final question. Now that everything all said and done, do you think Ted is proud of you?
A part of me kind of hopes that he isn't proud, because part of me hopes that he doesn't have to understand it.
I think Ted was a 2-year-old boy who probably didn't know what happened. But I would like to think that he's proud. Although I would say, I don't think that I did anything beyond what any mother would have done in the same situation. I think Ted, through his death, is protecting his peers for generations to come.